All right, we are going to talk about dividing polynomials, okay? So before we talk about dividing polynomials, let's just talk about dividing numbers. And it's probably been a while since you've done this. So let's just review how we do this. What if we wanted to divide 3 into 178? Okay, how would we do it? Well, we'd say, does 3 go into 1? No. Does it go into 17? Yes, it goes 5 times. So I'll write a 5 up here and multiply 5 times 3 and get 15. And then I subtract that and I get a 2, right? And I bring down the 8 and I say, how many times does 3 go into 28? 9 times, right? 3 times 9 is 27. So 9 times 3 is 27. And then I subtract that, and I'm left with a remainder of 1. So we could write this a few ways. We could say 178 divided by 3 equals 59 plus 1 over 3, right? There's 59 up here. That's probably how we'd write it, right? The solution up here plus 1/3. Okay, so the good news is dividing polynomials is just like that. We use the division algorithm to divide polynomials. So let's try one. Let's divide. So if it said divide, well, I can just pop this paper over. What if we wanted to say divide 5x squared plus 3x minus 2 by x plus 1? Okay, so let's write this just like we would normally. We'll say x plus 1 there, and 5x squared plus 3x minus 2 underneath the division sign. And now we look at this. We say x goes into this how many times? X goes into 5x squared how many times? 5x times, right? X times 5x would give me 5x squared. Okay, so now we multiply this. We say 5x squared plus 5x, because I have to multiply it by both terms. And remember what I did before? I subtracted. So I subtract these. This minus this is 0. 3x minus 5x is minus 2x minus 2. Okay, so now I ask myself the same thing. X goes into minus 2x how many times? Minus 2, right? So I write minus 2 up here. And I say 2 times these terms. So minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. And I subtract. That means I change the signs. And I get 0. Nice. There was no remainder in this one. So how can I write this? I could write 5x squared plus 3x minus 2 divided by x plus 1 equals 5x minus 2. Right? Another way I could write this is 5x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 5x minus 2 times x plus 1. Right? Really, I've divided one of the factors into this polynomial and gotten the other factor, right? So if I multiply those two factors together, I'll get that polynomial. Okay, that worked out nicely. What about if you have this one instead? Six x cubed plus 11x squared minus 31x plus 15, dividing it by this. All right, let's give it a try. 3x minus 2 into 6x cubed plus 11x squared minus 31x plus 15. And there's really no shortcut here. I mean, these don't get harder or easier. You just have to be careful. So writing all of the things down every time is really your best bet to getting the right answer. Okay, because there's not, especially with these, sometimes you don't have any intuition if you're doing it right. You just have to be careful and not make any mistakes. Okay, so make sure all your signs are right, blah, blah, blah. All right, so 3x goes into 6x cubed how many times? 2x squared, right? Because those together give me 6x cubed. Okay, so let's multiply 6x cubed minus 4x squared, right? I multiplied this by both of those terms. And now I subtract. So I change all the signs. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. I'm going to get 15x squared, and now I bring this down, minus 31x. All right, 3x goes into 15x squared. I'm just looking at the first term. 5x times. So let's say plus 5x. And now let's multiply 15x squared minus 10x. Right, 5x times this, 5x times that. All right, so let's change the signs. So these go away. These should always go away, right? If you're doing this right, these should always be 0. Negative 31 plus 10 is negative 21x. Okay, 3x goes into minus 21x. How many times? Negative 7, right? So negative 7 I write up there. Now I multiply this by both of these terms. I get minus 21x. Oh, wait, sorry. I have to bring this down. Plus 15. Negative 7x times negative 2 is plus 14. And now let's change the signs. That becomes positive. That becomes negative. I add, and I'm left with 1 at the end. Okay, that happens. Sometimes you get a remainder. All right, so how could I write this? I could write 6x cubed plus 11x squared minus 31x plus 15 equals, or divided by 3x minus 2 equals 2x squared plus 5x minus 7 plus 1 over 3x minus 2. Sorry, I ran out of room there. Should be all be on the same line normally. I just ran out of space. Otherwise, I'd write this up here. Okay, so that's how I'd write it. Let's look at it. So what should we do next? All right, now we're going to talk about synthetic division. Synthetic division is a shortcut. You can use it for certain kinds of division problems. Here's what synthetic division looks like. Use synthetic division to divide 5x squared minus 3x minus 36 by this number, or by this term, x minus 3. So the only time you can use synthetic division is if the thing you're dividing by has this form, x minus 3, or x plus 5, or x minus 12, okay? It has to be a linear term like that. It has to be x minus or plus some number. If that is the thing you're dividing by, you can use synthetic division. You can also use regular division, just like we did, just in the last problem. We could go through that same process. But here's how you use synthetic division. It's really just a shortcut of writing things. If your term is x minus something, you write that something outside. So it's minus 3, so I write a plus 3 out here. It's like the opposite sign, right? If it was x plus 5, I'd write a minus 5 over here. Okay, and then I write the coefficients of each of these terms, 5, minus 3, and minus 36. Okay? So I bring 5 down. I multiply 3 times 5, and I get 15. I add these. Minus 3 plus 15 is 12. I multiply 3 times 12, and I get 36, and I get 0 remainder. Okay? So now we have to interpret this result, right? This means 5x squared minus 3x minus 36 divided by x minus 3 equals 5x plus 12. Okay. I could also, these are two factors of this polynomial, of this quadratic, right? So this was a 5x squared minus 3x minus 36. So these numbers down here are all going to be 1 degree less. Okay, this was an x squared, so this will just be an x. Let's do another synthetic division problem. We've got a polynomial, a cubic, and here we have a linear factor, x plus 2. We're dividing it by something of the right form. So yeah, we can use synthetic division. So what is our number out here? It's plus 2, so we write a minus 2 out there on our little box. And then we write the coefficients of our terms, 4, 10, minus 6, minus 20. Okay, so what are the steps? I bring this 4 down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. So it's like a nice little shortcut. So what does this tell us? 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 6x minus 20 divided by x plus 2 equals, how do we interpret this? It's going to be 4x squared plus 2x minus 10. Sometimes both of the synthetic division problems we've done have had 0 remainders, but you can have a remainder just like you can with regular long division. It just is a coincidence that these both have not had remainders. Let's try this one. Oops. Use synthetic division to divide this by x minus 1. Is this the right form? Yep. It's just x plus or minus a number. So what's our box going to look like? This is x minus 1, so it's positive 1 there. And we'll have a minus 9, 10, 7. Ooh, look at this. We have an x to the 4th term, an x cubed term, an x squared term, no x term, and then a constant. What do we do? Just like in regular division, we have to do the same thing. We have to write that term in with a coefficient of 0. Okay, if we don't do that, we'll get the wrong answer. All right, you have to add in any missing terms from your original polynomial just by writing a 0. If it was regular division, we'd write plus 0x. Okay? All right, and now let's go. We bring this down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Okay, and of course, I'm going kind of fast. So because this is a video, you can always pause it, try it yourself, slow things down, rewatch it. I just go kind of fast on the videos because I know that you have that option if you're a little confused. Okay. All right, so let's interpret this. Minus 9x to the 4th plus 10x cubed plus 7x squared minus 6 divided by x minus 1 equals minus 9x cubed plus x squared plus 8x plus 8. Right, each of these, we've lowered the degree from our original number up there. Right, so we start with cubed plus x squared plus 8x plus 8 plus 2 divided by x minus 1. Okay, this term here is going to be important in a few lessons, okay, a remainder. So that's why we're kind of doing this. So this remainder term is going to be important. For now, we're just going through the mechanics so that when we get there, this part's easy for you. Okay, that's pretty much it, honestly. You're going to have practice dividing. It's just a process. It's just do this, then this, then this. Okay, there's nothing super conceptual or tricky about it. If it has the form x minus 1 or something like this, you can use synthetic division as a shortcut. If it doesn't, you got to go through long division. But it's just, there's really no tricky concepts. It's just being careful, especially with your minus signs, as always.